Hello writers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandra. I share writing tips, writing advice, and my creative journey. Today I want to talk about how to stop procrastinating and start writing your book. Have you ever felt so motivated to write? You're like, this is it. I'm going to write such an amazing novel, or I'm going to finish my great book and I'm going to put it out there. I'm so ready. I'm so motivated to write. I can do this. And then you come to your manuscript and you're facing your keyboards and you're like, I don't feel like writing. I don't want to write. Like, I want to, but I can't, and I don't feel like I can. Well, the good news is you're not the only one. The bad news is that you're going to have to do something about it. Just remember, procrastination is what prevents you to doing that great thing that you have in your head. It prevents you from writing the novel you've always dreamt of. But don't you worry, I got you covered. Here are my 5 tips to stop procrastinating and start writing. My first tip is word sprints. Word sprints literally saved my life. Well, I'm kind of exaggerating. Or am I? I don't know. But word sprints are amazing. They're an amazing tool to get you writing and to get your writing flowing. The reason why is that you set a time limit. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes when you first start off, and then you write as much as you can. It doesn't matter what you're writing. It doesn't matter if it doesn't follow the script in your head or the script that you have on your outline. All you gotta do is write. And then through that practice, you kind of realize that that barrier that you have, that inner barrier, you can break it down every single time. All you have to do is push yourself to write anything. It could even be like a word vomit. It could be a sentence where nothing makes sense. But as you do that, as you go through that practice, sooner or later, you'll start to actually write what you want to write. You'll start to actually get to that flow state and start writing. Word sprints are also great when you don't have that much time to dedicate to writing, but you still want to work on your novel and you still want to write something. So I highly recommend word sprints. I recommend starting small and then going bigger, building your tolerance. I usually do 15 to 30 minutes word sprints. And on months where I feel like I've built up my tolerance, I feel like I go up to 45 minutes to an hour 15. So I think word sprints are a great way to get the words out there, to get your creativity flowing, to make you remember that you actually can write and you're able to write. Just imagine that, like, you know, when you're at an exam and you have to write an essay or you have to write short answer responses in written form, you have no choice but to write. The time is ticking. Like, you need a little bit of pressure to get you writing sometimes. Just try it and see. Sometimes I have 4 sessions of 15 minutes in a day where I just write a little bit and I end up writing anywhere between 500 to 1,000 words. That's my word count of the day. I highly recommend word sprints because it's a really good way to crush your procrastination. My second tip is to crush the perfectionist in you. Perfectionism is another way to procrastinate. Like, it literally will keep you away from writing because you want everything to be perfect. You want your desk to be perfect, you want your writing to be perfect, you want the conditions to be perfect, you want the lighting, the temperature, you know, sometimes it's good to know what you want and what you like, but sometimes you're just using that as an excuse not to write. So that perfectionist in you that prevents you from writing, you need to tell him or her, or whatever form it takes, and tell it, no, you sit your ass down, I'm going to write. It's going to be messy, it's going to be sloppy, it's going to be whatever it is, but I'm going to write and I don't care what you think. Honestly, as writers, we have to get used to ignoring that voice in our head that keeps saying, you're not good enough, you're not qualified enough, you shouldn't write this, or your idea sucks. You need to literally silence that voice and concentrate on writing. You already have all the tools that you need for writing. You have yourself, your brain, and you have the capacity to write. It could be pen and paper, it can be a computer, it doesn't matter. You have all the tools you need. You don't need all these fancy creative writing degrees. You don't need all these books and resources. Those are great things to have, and those are a luxury and sometimes a privilege to have, but anyone can be a writer, and that's the beauty of writing. So don't hold yourself back. You only learn to be a better writer the more you write and the more you dedicate your time to writing and also reading. You also need to remember that the first draft is supposed to look like shit. It's supposed to be nonsensical. It's supposed to be clunky. It's supposed to be wordy. It's supposed to be so many things that we don't really want it to be because it's the first draft. That's the beauty of it. You can go and edit it so many more times after you're done, but you need to be done. So you need to stop procrastinating and you need to start writing. If you feel bad about the fact that you procrastinate and that you're a perfectionist, just remember what Thomas Mann said. A writer is someone for whom writing is more difficult than it is for other people. And the reason for that is because we want it to be good. We want to be great, but you can't be great without writing. You can't be good without writing. So keep writing. It's also normal that your novel starts to look like something completely different than you first imagined. And that's what's going to lead us to tip number 3. Tip number 3 is to make a new outline. As much as you plan and outline your novel, it can be that when you're writing, your story takes different avenues, your characters take different avenues. Sure, you're the one creating it and you're the one writing it, but as you go along, your brain shifts and you see things differently and you discover more things. And everyday life experiences actually also influence our writing. It's completely normal that your story becomes and morphs into something completely different that you thought, or that it kind of goes off script. But don't worry about that. Don't resist that. We shouldn't be afraid to either ditch the old outline or to tweak it or to have a completely new outline. And I think this is also why sometimes when you first start writing a book, things are really exciting and new and you already know more or less where you're going if you have an outline, or you're about to discover a whole new world if you don't have an outline and you just have vague ideas. Then you hit that midpoint and you don't know where it's going or what anything is. It's like you're kind of writing in the dark, and you shouldn't be afraid of the dark. You should just keep writing through the dark until new revelations come, until you can think of new things, until you can finish the draft and actually go and work through those dark parts at the end. You don't have to stop just because it gets harder. You actually have to keep on going. My 4th tip is to remove distractions. Now, it goes without saying that phones can be so distracting. Mine is so distracting that I need to literally mute all my notifications because or else I will look at it. I try to keep my phone away most times because I film these write everyday TikToks of myself writing every day. I actually use my phone to film myself writing, so it actually keeps me accountable because I can't really use it if it's filming me and it's like showing me, okay, you're filming for this long. And I do the same thing with this camera where I film my writing sessions, so it keeps me accountable and focused on writing, because nothing is more embarrassing than filming a writing session and then seeing I was on my phone for like 20 minutes of the 30. So yeah, honestly, keep accountable, limit distraction, don't go on apps, don't have things open, don't have so many things around you. Keep focused. The other thing is, when you are writing your novel and you're using Pinterest as an inspiration, all that is well and dandy, but make sure you're not going into a rabbit hole on Google or on Pinterest where you're saving things and you're looking things up and it never ends and like 2 hours has passed and you only wrote 5 words, but you've just been researching and consuming content and going next. Honestly, what I've been doing instead is that when I need to research something in my novel that comes up, I just put brackets and I write an R, and that means research, so I can do the research afterwards. So I don't interrupt the flow state of writing. I don't interrupt myself while I'm writing, because the more you interrupt yourself, the harder it is to get back into it. And I think that's why it's good to have a playlist that you already know that you're gonna listen to and not feel so like compelled to keep on skipping songs or tracks or trying to find songs, because again, that's another distraction. Limit all distractions as much as you can, and you're gonna see it's gonna be much harder for you to procrastinate. My 5th tip is to show up almost every day. I believe that procrastination hates people that actually take the time to do the thing, instead of procrastinate. Because when you procrastinate, it's because things are too much, there's too much to do, and you don't know where to start. So it's easier not to do anything and procrastinate than to do something. So when you write every day, you don't have that constant pressure of like, oh my god, I need to write 50,000 words this month because I haven't written in the last 6 months. When you write every day, you have a routine. A routine goes against procrastination. When you write every day, you know yourself, you know your habits, you know that you can do word sprints, you know that you're building your tolerance. So that's why I highly recommend writing every day, or like not skipping more than 1 and 2 days. It's the same concept of like going to the gym, right? If you skip a few days, it's fine, but if you start skipping all the time, it's gonna get harder and harder and harder, and you're gonna procrastinate and you're gonna delay and you're gonna get out of the habit again. So remember, for habit forming, you need to also have a routine, and you need to also try to do it every day or as often as you can. But I also want to mention that it's good to have rest days. Some days you really can't write, and if you can't write in your manuscript, what you can do instead, you can read. What you can do instead, you can write something else. You can write a short story on the side, or you can write a poem on the side, or you can write about your characters on the side. So you are always constantly engaging in the world, so you can finish writing about the world or the characters, right? When you take yourself out for too long of periods of time, you take yourself out too long, you're not gonna ever finish, and you're always going to procrastinate. So don't be too far away, take breaks, but be mindful of your breaks. And as one of my favorite authors have said before, Margaret Atwood, a word after a word after a word is power. I hope that you found this video super helpful. I hope that you'll stop procrastinating and start writing more. Honestly, if you have any of your own tips against procrastination, please feel free to share them down below. I didn't go through all of my tips. I went to the 5 main ones that help me consistently. So feel free to share them. Feel free to even tell me what you want to see next, what you want me to talk about next, anything related to writing and the craft of writing, and anything writing related. And if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. More writing videos are going to be coming to this channel, so stay tuned about that. Stay informed, stay subscribed. As always, you can find all my other links down below. I have a lot of links. I will also be releasing an ebook shortly soon about procrastination and perfectionism in writing. So if this is a topic that really interests you, and if you really struggle with perfectionism and procrastination, I will have you covered. I will have an ebook up in the next few weeks to help you get through your writing. For now, don't forget to enjoy your journey to writing, and I'll see you on the next writing video. Bye!